Jason, did you have any of those knocks on the doors where, I mean, when MTV called you, what was that like?
Oh, geez, I've had so many of those type of knocks, some good, some bad. But so with MTV, where do I begin with this one? So the reason why MTV came around was back in 2007, I had a song. It was a pop, like Latino, like type feel, like, you know, like a salsa type song.
Oh, the Mamacita?
Yeah. So what happened was, I don't know how it leaked. We hadn't released the record. We're still working on it, but it leaked to a Pittsburgh radio station. They started playing it, and then it started spreading like wildfire. However, the reason why it was spreading like wildfire is everyone was saying that it was the new Michael Jackson record.
Oh.
Yeah. So every station, like, it started playing, like it went regional, and then even when it went over to LA, they were playing. This was like 2007, like beginning of 2007.
Wait, and Suge Knight didn't sue him for stealing his campaign? I'm sorry, go on.
No comment. So the song started spreading like wildfire. My camp was trying to like clarify, say, no, it's not Michael. This is Jason Malachi, but continue playing it, please. We love the royalties coming in,
Right,
you know?
right.
So anyway, long story short, what happened was TMZ, Fox TMZ, they caught wind of it, and they did like a whole story on me and everything. They did 2 articles on me. They actually had it on the actual television show. Because of that, MTV got word. Club Jet out the Mirage Hotel out in Vegas, they were doing this New Year's bash, you know, fast forward into early 2008 for New Year's Eve for 2008. So they invited me out to come out there. Remember that show on MTV, The Hills, with Heidi and Spencer?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like the host, the guests of the show. It was like a VIP only like type show, right at Club Jet. It was pretty cool because MTV was like, hey, we want you to come out, do the show. They took care of everything, got me out there. I was on the marquee, did the show. It was awesome. And that's kind of how it all started. But it all started from my song being mistaken as MJ, and then, you know, fast forward, TMZ's doing these articles. It was crazy.
The truth about any press is good press, you know.
Absolutely.
It works.
It does. And that really is not my doing. I mean, I took the ride, but it was...
Well, yeah, why not? We might as well just get to the elephant in the room here. You're swept into this lawsuit from out of the blue, from the internet crowd.
Yeah.
And then it gets exasperated when your social media page is hacked.
Yep.
Tell us some of the things that you've had to deal with personally and in your career because of all this drama. Like, how are you able to push forward creatively? Because it's got to be a bit of a source of cognitive dissonance, being the fact that you look up to the guy and now you're embroiled in this lawsuit.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. I mean, it's been a double-edged sword my whole life, really. Ever since I was young, going in the studio, literally the producers, they hear my voice and they're like, oh man, we love that sound. But I've spent so much time trying to create my own sound. I'm not like an impersonator or anything like that. You know, I have my own legitimate sound, write my own songs. When all that controversy took place, my Facebook page got hacked. Literally, I was in the process. I just finished recording my debut pop album with Damon Sharp. He's a multi-platinum producer from LA. He did Jennifer Lopez, My Love Don't Cost a Thing. That's what kind of put him on the map. He also worked with all the big time Rush records, Britney Spears, a lot of pop acts. Damon's behind them, either as a songwriter or producer. So me and Damon, like, we became friends and flew out to LA. We did pretty much the whole Critical album together. Damon and myself and some other writers co-wrote their song Critical. So at 2010, we were about to release my debut pop record, like that was highly anticipated and everything. And then all that controversy hit. My Facebook page gets hacked. Someone starts making comments that are fraudulent. Like, I did not post those comments. Someone just hacked it and made comments. So trying to clear that up. And then from that point, it got really crazy. Like, we were getting like death threats, like legitimate death threats, people calling that.
What?
Yeah. People calling the house. I literally, like, no joke. We actually had to move. My family, we moved.
Oh.
And even my new location, which we kept super secret and private, people would show up at our door and people would show up and put letters in my mailbox. And it got that severe. Like, some of these fanatics are like, I don't understand. They're like angry and stuff. And it got pretty crazy. That whole album with all that hype from my Critical album, it like just killed the whole vibe. And like,
do you think it's tainted your career? Because here, it's not even something you're really involved in. You were kind of dragged into it. Are you constantly trying to have to explain this now to people when you're pitching your record? And
that's like the first thing. It always comes up, and not even so much the controversy, because it's, it's been a decade now. It was 10 years ago,
Jeez.
Time is flying. But really, it was like, you sound so much like MJ. So how can we pitch this? And I try to explain to them. I was like, look, put me on stage, get me in front of an audience. You'll see it's me. This is not a gimmick. Like, this is how I sound, but it's my own music. It almost takes that, you know, and then that's why, like, back in the day when Suge really believed in it, that gave me a lot of inspiration, because I'm like, you know, here's someone who's successful that sees the vision. It's been a double-edged sword throughout my career. It's been very good shock value at first. And then they're like, but then how do we market this? But then you get The Weeknd comes on the scene and pretty much, you know, goes that hip hop R&B route that I've been created like way before he came on the scene, and yet he's successful. So I always point people, I say, look, he's successful, so it works. It's not a gimmick. Yeah, he has a similar tone as well, but he has his own style, and that's why he's so successful. The Weeknd, you know. Yeah, but it's been a roller coaster, man. I'll tell you what.
Well, hopefully it's starting to settle down a little bit. Like I said, we can't really talk much about it, but I wanted to at least get your side on what you've been dealing with, because a lot of people probably have no idea what you're going through, dealing with all this stuff and having to just try to do your own art, but then having this lurking in the shadows all the time. It's got to be a little frustrating, to say the least.
A lot of these people, they're keyboard warriors. They will just slander you. They don't know. They don't have any viable information. They just make assumptions, and they go on social media and just slander you and try to this and that. But I'll be honest with you, like, as of recently, I've been working on a new album the past 3 years. Mm-hmm. A producer, he's been trying to work with me for a long time. Ever since all that controversy, I've been very skeptical and selective on who I work with, because I feel like, are they going to try and take advantage of me?
Right. You got to have that extra layer of guarding that you normally wouldn't have.
Exactly.
And that could be, you know, not conducive to being open and doing good work.
Right. So we've been working on this new record for 3 years now. You know, I'll go on every once in a while and check the comments. And a lot of people who years ago were like really hating on me are actually now coming over and saying, look, you know, we believe that you're a credible artist. We actually love your sound. You know, yeah, there was that controversy, but we're on board. Like, when's this album coming out? And so that really gives me a lot of inspiration and hope.
As far as those folks that are slandering and showing up and being just shitty, like, what were they blaming you for? Like, were they thinking that you desecrated? People love to hate, but I'm not quite sure what you did necessarily wrong.
So the main thing, since the 2007 Mamacita explosion, it's been like, oh, you're trying to take his place, or you're trying to be Michael, or you're trying to, and that's not the case at all. I have such admiration for the man. You know, he's the king of pop. He always will be. There'll never be anyone that comes close. But I'm my own artist. I have my own stuff. On the other side of that too is, then you get a lot of people, this is why I'm so skeptical now, is they literally will call me up, even to this day, like, and they want me to come. I think the one guitarist he had from the This Is It tour was trying to make arrangements to have me do like a tribute band. And then just like last month, right before this whole stuff that's going on in the world that's kind of crazy right now, but before that happened, this guy, he was a big tribute band out in Italy. He called me up and said, hey man, what would it cost to get you out here to be the singer for this tribute band? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I love MJ. I love his music. He's the greatest, but I'm not a tribute artist. I'm my own artist. I'm not an impersonator. I never have been, and I never will be. So pass, you know what I mean? They would offer you crazy stuff, pretty decent money stuff, but I'm like, that's not me.
As an artist, you know, if you're trying to make music how you go about living, I have mad respect for you to be able to say no to all that stuff, because I would think that would be a cash cow. So lots of respect for you just sticking true to what you do. And you know, it's funny. It's like being a singer. I can relate. I've been in the studio where people say, try to sing that a little bit different, or try to sing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to be honest with you. What you're getting is what naturally comes out, unless I'm really going to force something just ludicrous. So as a singer, I can totally respect. I listened to your music leading up to this, and you definitely have a killer voice.
Thank you.
Does it sound like Michael? Yeah, that's okay in my book. Just like you said, The Weeknd. That's cool. He does sound like Michael. When that came out, that's what I thought of, and that worked. But it's not easy to just change your voice. So whatever you're doing is naturally coming out.
Exactly.
Whatever inspired you, whether that's Michael or that type of pop growing up, it inspired you, but that's what's coming out. You just can't like all of a sudden fucking change it just because it sounds like somebody else. So
exactly.